Have you ever met someone who used to be warm, kind, and open, but suddenly became distant? Someone who once trusted easily, but now keeps everyone at arm's length. People often say things like, they've changed. They're not the same person anymore. But psychology suggests something important. Sometimes people don't change randomly. Sometimes they change because something inside them broke, and when trust breaks deeply enough, the human mind begins to protect itself. Let's imagine someone named Daniel. Daniel used to be the kind of person everyone liked. He laughed easily, he trusted people quickly, and he believed in the good in others. If someone needed help, Daniel would always be there. Friends described him as genuine and loyal, but one day something happened that quietly changed him. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic. It was betrayal. A person he trusted deeply lied to him, not once, but repeatedly. And what hurt Daniel most wasn't just the lie. It was the realization that someone he trusted had never been who he thought they were. That moment planted a dangerous thought in his mind. Maybe I was wrong about people. After betrayal, people often experience something psychologists call emotional self-protection. The brain remembers pain, not just physical pain, but emotional pain as well. So when trust is broken, the mind begins to change its behavior to prevent the same pain from happening again. At first, the changes are small. Daniel became more careful with his words. He shared less about his life. He observed people more before trusting them. But slowly, those changes grew stronger. The psychology of trust after trauma. Trust is one of the most delicate psychological bonds humans form. When someone breaks that trust deeply, it can affect how the brain processes relationships. Psychologists describe this as a shift in emotional defense mechanisms. Defense mechanisms are ways the mind protects itself from pain. Some common ones include emotional distance, avoiding vulnerability, becoming overly cautious, expecting disappointment. From the outside, these behaviors may look cold, but internally, they are attempts to avoid being hurt again. When kindness turns into guardedness. Months passed, and Daniel's friends began noticing something different. He wasn't as open anymore. He no longer shared his personal struggles. When conversations became emotional, he changed the subject. Some people assumed he had become arrogant. Others believed he simply stopped caring. But the truth was more complicated. Daniel still cared. He simply no longer felt safe showing it. Psychological research shows that painful experiences can reshape how the brain interprets social situations. When someone experiences emotional betrayal, the brain's threat detection system becomes more sensitive. This means the person may start looking for warning signs everywhere. They might think, what if this person is lying too? What if this friendship ends the same way? What if trusting again leads to the same pain? Over time, the brain begins choosing safety over openness. The most surprising thing about emotional change is that it often happens quietly. There's no dramatic announcement, no clear moment when someone says, "I'm different now." Instead, the transformation happens slowly. A little more caution, a little less vulnerability, a little more distance, until one day people look at them and say, "You're not the same anymore." And in a way, they're right. Pain has a way of reshaping people, but here's something important to remember. Emotional defenses are not always permanent. They are simply the mind's way of surviving difficult experiences. Healing begins when someone slowly realizes that protecting themselves does not mean closing their heart forever. It means learning something new, how to trust carefully, how to set boundaries, how to recognize who deserves access to their vulnerability. Because true healing isn't about becoming the person you were before the pain. It's about becoming someone stronger and wiser after it. So the next time someone seems different after being hurt, before assuming they became cold or distant, consider another possibility. Maybe they didn't change because they wanted to. Maybe they changed because something painful taught them a lesson they never wanted to learn. And sometimes, when people build walls around their hearts, it's not because they stopped caring. It's because they once cared too deeply for the wrong person.